Hey guys, I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial, going a little bit further into detail on working with puppets. So we kind of did this little tutorial here. Remember our bone man here? We took him and was able to flex him around. The problem is, you notice that when you flex him, kind of like you see here, you get some weird geometry. Things start overlapping, and when you find a resting position for him, you see that creates this weird overlap. And so this is because we just basically just grazed the surface of what you can do with the bones. We created a simple single object armature for this guy. So what we're going to do is go a little bit into more detail with how you can get more use out of the bone tool and kind of puppeteering in a way. So here's an example. Here's a character that was done in a little bit fuller detail. You see how he's broken up into different pieces. And that means you have to draw out different body parts and create symbols out of those so that they appear in our library. And so I have all the different body parts here. Some of them are only listed once because you can repeat it, like the arm parts, the hands. Those are just repeated and transformed and flipped around, basically because they're the same. This character is pretty much symmetrical. Legs are the same, feet are the same, so you're only going to see one symbol in there for those parts. So that is a quick explanation of that. And what you can do with them later is once you attach them and reattach all his body parts together, you can end up with a functioning, moving character that you've created basically as a puppet. So this is how it starts. This is how we connect all the bones while he's all separated. And then what we'll do is take something and piece them back together. So I'm going to keep this little guy here as reference because he's kind of where we started. So I'm going to create a simple body. I'm not going to go into as detailed as the monkey man there. So what I'm going to do is just create a head. I'm going to right click. I'm going to convert to symbol. And I'm going to say this is the head. I typed it there, click OK, and then my head shows up in my library. Simple, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create basically just a body. I'm going to right click on it, convert to symbol. Actually, instead of body, that's a pretty terrible body. I'm going to cancel that. In fact, I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to just draw kind of a torso real quick. This is terrible. I'm drawing this with the mouse, by the way, so don't judge. So I'm just going to create a torso, something like this. All right, convert, call it my torso or body, whatever you want. What makes this useful is when you're attaching legs is to have a pelvic area or pelvis, something like this where you can attach your legs to and your body can attach to. Makes it a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is create basically a pelvic area, I guess. And I'm going to call this pelvis. The rest are pretty easy. I'm going to repurpose these. I'm just going to call this upper limb because it can be arm or leg in this case. So, okay, I'm going to do lower limb. I'm going to do, let's say, that'll be a hand. He's got like a thumbs up or something, I'm not sure. Hand, and let's make, we'll call this rectangle here, his foot. All right, so I've got a lot of body parts here. What I want to do now is arrange these body parts so that they make sense. So I've got a foot down here, got a body over here, I've got a pelvis right here. Move this up. Got upper arm, lower arm, or limb, whatever. I got a crazy looking hand, pelvis. All right, so I need more body parts. So what I'm going to do is come over here to my library, And I need another upper limb. I need a couple upper limbs. I'm going to throw this upper limb out here and say, yep, that's what I need. I need a lower limb. And again, this can be upper arm, upper leg, lower leg, depending on what you need. I'm doing this pretty quick and simple, so um, you can kind of see how this all works, how it all comes together. I need another foot, and I need another hand. Now something's wrong here because my hands and feet are all facing the same way. So what I can do is just basically flip it over using my free transform tool. I can do the same thing here, even though it doesn't really matter. It's just, this is a terrible drawing. So I've got them all laid out here. He's kind of exploded. Remember, you can take these and you can transform them, move them how you need to. Taking these to kind of make them a little bit more in place for. I don't want them. Don't want them together. I want them separated right now because this is going to be a lot easier to connect bones to. So once I have them all separated, kind of in what I call an exploded view, like all his body parts are shattered here, I'm gonna add. Oh crap! I'm gonna add a neck. Necks are important, right? You need a neck. So there, that right there is a neck. Needs a neck. There. And with that neck, I'm going to slide it into place. His head's kind of hanging off there. That's fine. Got his bone tool. I'm going to start in mid chest. Easy place to start. And I'm going to start thinking about where do I want these joints to be located? Where's your shoulder joint? Where's your elbow joint? Where's your wrist, right? And that's where you want to stop and place these little pins. I guess you can call them pins or joints. Pretty much that's what they are. So I'm going to start attaching these things together. I want one attached to his neck, and I want one attached to his head. I need one attached to his pelvis. And this pelvis needs to attach to the upper leg or femur, down to the knee, down to the ankle. Same thing for the other side. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so he's all connected, right? We're done? Nope. Let's move him into place. So I got to use my free transform tool, and I want to select outwards and then select one of your body parts here and start to make sure you select the right parts and start moving them into place here. These little white dots, that's the joint. So if you don't like the where your object is rotating from, you can grab that little white dot and adjust it so that when it moves, it's going to rotate on that little spot. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to pop that into place. Pop his elbow into place. I don't like where that's exactly located, so I'm going to move that here. Move his wrist into place. Same thing, little adjustments. Start popping his body, building up our puppet here, right? So adjustments where needed. I'm just grabbing him, move him into place, rotating him. We'll figure it out. There we go. His foot. Man, he's got some weird feet. All right. So making sure that it's going to kind of rotate in a good place. So now that he's all together, right? Is he all together? Let me check. Yeah. Looks like man, this guy's weird. All right. So now that he's all together, I can use my selection tool and I can grab one of his limbs and kind of puppet him around, right? Now, sometimes it gets kind of weird. Things start getting kind of wonky, right? See how that happens? Well, if you want to isolate a movement with your puppet here, you can hold shift and grab and move one of these limbs and you can see what happens. So I can do that here too. And I can do that here. So you see his shoulder doesn't go all out of whack. And that's basically it. And as you start to create movements, you're going to see that further down the line, once you create your frames and you create a movement, it's going to automatically key that frame so it tweens in those poses. So cool thing to do.